What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be recapping UFC Fight Night Burns versus Morales. Really good card, a lot of good finishes, a lot of fun fights. Let's get straight into it. First fight on the card, Tisha Pennington versus Luana Pinheiro. Decent fight, pretty much went how I expected. Tisha Pennington just went out there and just outclassed Luana Pinheiro. Landed the better shots, got taken down a couple times but got back up, and just wins the decision. Pennington was one of my locks. Who the fuck are you? Tapology ads, Jesus. Anyways, Tisha Pennington was one of my locks. I just knew she was going to be way too high level for Pinheiro. That was an easy pick. Not really much to say. Let's move on to the next fight. We have Hyun-Sung Park versus Carlos Hernandez. Hyun-Sung Park, man. A lot of people were doubting this guy going into this one. I seen some people picking Carlos Hernandez. Some people saying, it might be an iffy fight. I knew Park was going to win pretty dominantly, and he does. Goes out there, lands some good shots, hurts Carlos Hernandez with some knees to the body, which is, I think, what made Hernandez kind of just start to wilt was the knees to the body. Hyun-Sung Park has nasty body work. Knees, punches, everything. If you don't cover up your body, he's going to TKO you with body shots. But that's not how this fight went down. He hurts Carlos Hernandez with some body knees, and then they end up on the ground, and Park just kind of muscles his way into a rear naked choke and gets it. Very slick, very good. This guy's good, man. This guy's really good. I think next for Hyun-Sung Park, I want to see a decent jump up in competition, but nothing too crazy. I would like to see Hyun-Sung Park take on... Who do I want to see him fight? I'd like to see Hyun-Sung Park take on... Maybe rebook the Naem Dragaltuman Dembrell fight. That'd be pretty interesting. Or book, maybe a Clayton Carpenter could be interesting or something like that. But, yeah, Hyun-Sung Park gets the W. I get my pick right. Let's move on to the next fight. Denise Gomes versus Elise Reed. I picked Denise Gomes in this fight. She gets it done. Vicious knockout. Flatlines Elise Reed with a nice right hook over the top. Or left hook over the top, should I say. Nice ground and pound too. Yeah, Denise Gomes is a monster. She looked great in this fight. Just pieced up Elise Reed and knocked her out. Not really much else to say. Elise Reed got completely outclassed. I think Denise Gomes is going to be ranked in this division. I think she's going to be ranked within the top 10, and I think she's going to put a lot of people to sleep. So, yeah, great win for Denise Gomes. Not really much else to say. Let's move on to the next fight. Luana Santos versus Tainara Lisboa. I picked Tainara Lisboa in this fight. I got the pick wrong. Luana Santos gets it done by submission with 1 second left in round 2. Interesting. I thought Lisboa was just going to be able to kind of outclass Luana Santos. But no, Luana Santos gets it done. Impressive victory. Let's move on to the next fight. Yadier Del Val versus Connor Matthews. I picked Yadier Del Val by first round TKO. He gets it done by first round submission. Just kind of bullies Connor Matthews, lands the better shots, gets him down, and just instantly subs him. He was just the way better fighter. Connor Matthews is decent, but I don't know. Yadier is just, he's good. He's got potential. I don't think he's going to be ranked. I don't think we'll see him anywhere near the rankings, but I think he's going to be a tough out in the unranked area. And maybe for a next fight for him, you can do like, see, what would be an interesting fight? Maybe like, beating Connor, maybe like I think a Jose Delgado fight could be interesting. Both of them coming off wins against Connor Matthews. I think Yadier Del Val versus Jose Delgado could be pretty interesting. But yeah, I think Yadier Del Val is pretty decent, and he bullies Connor Matthews. Let's move on to the next fight. Jared Gordon versus Thiago Moises. I picked Thiago Moises in this matchup. I thought he was going to be a little slicker on the feet, kind of manage the distance well, circle around, land good low kicks, secure takedowns. But no, Jared Gordon flatlines Thiago Moises with an overhand right and then ground and pound. That was nasty, I'm not going to lie. Moises looked good. He looked good from range. He looked comfortable. He was going in there. He was hitting some good shots. And then Gordon just times a beautiful shot over the guard of Moises, puts him down bad, and then finishes him with ground and pound, puts him out cold. Super impressive victory. Moises has never been done like that. Moises has fought some killers. He took Islam Makhachev to the 4th round and took him down a couple times. I think he only took him down once, but still. Dude, Joel Alvarez couldn't even put him down. It was a standing TKO. Benoit Saint Denis couldn't put him down. It was a ground and pound TKO. Jared Gordon just straight up dropped him and flatlined him. Very impressive. Thiago Moises has been in there with guys like Ludovic Klein as well. Like, Thiago Moises has fought the cream of the crop, the best of the best in the lightweight division. and Jared Gordon just beat him better than anyone else did. Very impressive stuff from Jared Gordon. Next for Jared Gordon, I would like to see Jared Gordon versus Esteban Ribovics. I think that'd be a pretty interesting fight. And for Thiago Moises, maybe do Thiago Moises versus Chase Hooper. That could be a decent jump up for Chase. Thiago Moises could maybe make some work there. I don't know. But yeah, I'd like to see Chase Hooper, Thiago Moises, and Jared Gordon, maybe Esteban Ribovics. Maybe do someone else. Maybe like let me think here. What could be a good matchup? Maybe do a Thiago Moises versus like a Tom Nolan. Moises versus Nolan could be a very Jared Gordon. I meant to say sorry. Jared Gordon versus Tom Nolan could be very interesting. Thiago Moises versus Chase Hooper. Yeah, those are the next fights I want to see for both these guys. Great win for Jared Gordon, man. Still a little upset that he keeps getting robbed in fights. Got robbed against Nazar Hakparast. Probably got robbed against Paddy Pimblett. I haven't rewatched that fight in a long time. I have to go back and rewatch it. I know he got robbed against Hakparast though. That was BS. But hey, Gordon back in the winning column. Good shit. Let's move on to the next fight. Gabe Green versus Mateus Camilo. I picked Mateus Camilo in this fight. Gabe Green gets it done by submission. He showed up, man. He showed up. I got my pick wrong. Most people got their pick wrong on this one. Gabe Green just didn't really seem that talented, but hey, he looked good in this fight, man. First round was a little bit iffy. Camilo was kind of just dictating everything, beating him on the feet, getting takedowns, and then Gabe Green just locks the fuck in and reverses some stuff and submits him with a rear naked choke. So yeah, gifted Gabe Green gets the W. I'm not sure if he's going to stay at 155 or go back up to 170. He was definitely a little undersized for 170, but he's a big 155er, so maybe he can make some of the work down here. He looks strong. He looked good. So yeah, Gabe Green gets it done. Let's move on to the next fight. Julian Erosa versus Melquiza El Costa. One sec. Melquiza El Costa versus Julian Erosa. Fight of the night. Definitely fight of the night. Sick performance. Both these guys showed up. Costa was looking slick. He was looking fast. Defending some takedowns well. Erosa was looking dangerous. He was looking wild. He was going out there swinging. Erosa's tough, man. He's got heart. He's got grit. If you don't finish him early, he's going to come back in the later rounds and put it on you. And that's what Costa had to deal with. He had to deal with that Erosa pressure. But he dealt with it well. First round, he kind of rocks Erosa with a head kick. Lands some other decent shots. Superman punch. He just kept rocking Erosa and landing the better shots. Second round, Erosa kind of starts to come back a little bit. But Costa still landing the better shots. Still doing better on the feet. And third round, I gave the third round to Erosa. Erosa started going in, man. Erosa was looking really good. Going in there, swinging, wailing his arms around like a fucking one of those like inflatable guys that you see like car lots, friggin' car dealerships. That's what they're called. Yeah, he looked like one of those guys. But he was landing some decent shots on Costa. Costa was doing a good job of evading most of it though, blocking a lot of it, landing some good shots from range. And Costa kind of just teed off on Julian Erosa for the first two rounds. Was piecing him up, the faster, cleaner striker, defended most of the takedowns. And yeah, clean win for Melquiza El Costa. I think next for Melquiza El Costa, he's on what, a 5-fight win streak at featherweight? I think we should see a decent jump up. He's beat some decent names. Andre Fili, Christian Rodriguez, Julian Erosa. Those are some solid unranked names. I think next for Melquiza El Costa should be maybe someone like maybe an Edson Barboza. I think a Melquiza El Costa versus Edson Barboza for like Edson's retirement fight. Edson's still in the UFC, right? I'm pretty sure he is. I never heard him retiring or anything. So yeah, maybe Melquiza El Costa versus an Edson Barboza could be interesting. Maybe Costa versus who's another featherweight around that area. Maybe Costa could fight like I don't even know, dude. Jungle Boy Felipe Lima's up there. I don't know. I think Melquiza El Costa versus Edson Barboza would be a sick fight, and that could honestly be like that could be a sick fight. That could be a nice prelim fight on like a pay-per-view card. So yeah, Melquiza El Costa versus Edson Barboza. Next fight to make. As for Julian Erosa, I would like to see Julian Erosa take on maybe Haider Emil. I think Erosa versus Haider Emil would be a sick fight. So yeah, those are the two fights I want to see for these guys. Melquiza El Costa versus Edson Barboza. Julian Erosa versus Haider Emil. Those are the fights I want to see. Next up, we have Nursultan Ruziboev versus Dustin Stoltzfus. I picked Nursultan Ruziboev in this fight. He gets it done by decision. I thought he was going to knock Stoltzfus out. Stoltzfus is a little bit chinny, but Stoltzfus survives. Ate some big shots, though, to be fair. Some nice spinning wheel kicks from Ruziboev. Some nice 1-2s that rocked him, but he never got put out. First round, I thought it was over. I thought Stoltzfus hit him with something and dropped him, but no, it was a headbutt. It was an accidental clash of heads that dropped Ruziboev, and Stoltzfus jumped on the guillotine and couldn't get it. Ruziboev survives, thankfully. I'm glad they didn't count that as a knockdown. That would have been bullshit. It was a headbutt. Should not count as a knockdown at all whatsoever. But yeah, great win for Nursultan Ruziboev. Stoltzfus is a decent guy in the unranked area. Ruziboev's good, man. People look at this guy and think he's just like some NPC that's gonna just lose. No, he's very good. He's very rangy and very like tall. He's a very big middleweight, but he's also just good. Like he's a good fighter. He goes in there, he brawls, he has big power, lands big shots. I see a cardio issue though. I don't think Ruziboev does good in a 5-rounder. He slows down in the third round in almost all of his fights. I'm not gonna bring up the Buckley fight because that was at welterweight. That's a big weight cut for a 6'5" person. So I'm not even gonna worry about that. Even at middleweight, his cardio looks a little bit iffy. But I feel like he's going to knock a lot of people out in the first round. I'm surprised he didn't knock out Stoltzfus. He was landing some clean shots, but the guy has some nasty KOs on his resume. And I think next for Ruziboev should be... What could be next for Ruziboev? Mikhail Alexeychuk is there. That'd be an explosive matchup. You got Michel Pereira there. That's probably too close to the rankings, though. You got... I'm pretty sure... Who's Ismail Nardiev fighting? Jun Park? Iron Turtle? Winner of that potentially could face Nursultan Ruziboev. I think that'd be an interesting matchup. There's a lot of interesting names. When Ruziboev beat Eric McConaughey and Gregory Rodriguez was coming off that loss to Jared Cannonier, I was thinking, dude, make Ruziboev versus Gregory Rodriguez, but Gregory Rodriguez is booked against Jack Hermanson now. Yeah, I like Ruziboev versus Mikhail Alexeychuk. I like that. Or maybe the winner of Nardiev versus Park. So yeah, or Lee, Junyon Lee, the Iron Turtle. Is it Junyon Park or Junyon Lee? They're both fight. I don't know. Those fucking Korean names are confusing sometimes. But yeah, winner of that could face Ruziboev. As for Stoltzfus, maybe I don't even know what you do with Stoltzfus. Just give him anybody, I guess. Maybe maybe like an Eric McConaughey or something if he's still around. Ruziboev beat him in his previous fight before this one, so maybe Stoltzfus versus McConaughey. But yeah, or maybe actually, I just thought of something. Nursultan Ruziboev versus Christian Leroy Duncan. That would be an explosive, interesting matchup. And you know what? Christian Leroy Duncan's last opponent, Andre Pulayev. You could do Andre Pulayev versus Dustin Stoltzfus. That's interesting. There's a lot of good fights you can do with these guys. But yeah, let's move on to the next fight. Co-main event. Unfortunately, Bellato versus Paul Craig got canceled. I was really looking forward to that one, so we aren't really able to get that fight. But yeah, co-main event. Myron Santos versus Sodiq Yusuff. I picked Myron Santos by decision. He gets it done by decision. Clean win. I gave all 3 rounds to Myron Santos, 30-27. And yeah, he just went out there. He was the cleaner striker, pieced up Sodiq Yusuff. He looked great in this fight. You can definitely see improvements from his last fight with Francis Marshall. Either Myron Santos is way improved, Sodiq Yusuff sucks, or Francis Marshall is just really good. And yeah, I don't know. Myron Santos looked really good in this fight, tapping at the low kicks, hitting some good shots. He just outstruck Sodiq Yusuff and landed the way better shots and combinations. Sodiq Yusuff didn't really try for too many like grappling exchanges. He tried for a couple, if I remember correctly, but couldn't really get any of them. So yeah, Myron Santos gets this one done. I think next for Myron Santos should be... Is he staying at 155? Because that's the question. If he's going back down to 145, that's different. But if he's staying at 155, I think the winner of a Nazim Sadikov-Nicholas Mota could fight Myron Santos. Or maybe the loser of that, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe like he's at 155. Myron Santos versus Vyacheslav Borshev is an interesting matchup. I think that'd be interesting. Myron Santos, Vyacheslav Borshev. As for Sodiq Yusuff, he didn't look terrible in this fight. He just didn't look good. He was just a little gun-shy. Not really gun-shy, actually. He was kind of out-voluming Myron Santos a little bit in some of the rounds, but he just wasn't putting together good combinations. He was kind of just marauding, and it wasn't really working. I think Sodiq Yusuff, his next fight, I think Sodiq Yusuff should fight, let Let me think. Who should Sadiq Yusuff fight? Maybe I don't know. If Quillan Salkild wins his fight at UFC 316, you can do Sadiq Yusuff versus Quillan Salkild. That'd be very interesting. But yeah, pretty decent fight. Nothing too crazy happened, but it was a decent technical back and forth fight. Myron Santos put on a great performance, and I'd like to see him versus Borshev next. I think he could beat Borshev pretty comfortably. Actually, I don't know. Borshev might knock him out. Who knows? Borshev always has that power. But yeah, Myron Santos versus Borshev is next. Let's move on to the main event, the one that you've all been waiting for. Michael Morales versus Gilbert Burns. I told people Burns isn't going to be able to hang. Burns isn't going to be able to stay in there with the power and size of Michael Morales. He gave up. Let's just call it what it is. Gilbert Burns quit. He pulled a Anthony Lionheart Smith. He pulled a Bo Nickel. Gilbert Burns gave up in this matchup against Michael Morales. The second Morales started teeing off and Burns started facing adversity, he just shelled up and fell to the floor and crumpled. To be fair, Michael Morales is a gigantic welterweight. Not gigantic, but he's big. He's one of the bigger welterweights on the roster. And he's got nasty power. Michael Morales is good. He's very dangerous. He's very good at what he does. He's not the most technical striker, but he's got decent hands. And he's very powerful, fast, rangy, big. He's just a force. I think Michael Morales is going to enter the top 5 at some point. I think he's going to beat a lot of guys in this division. And I think next for Michael Morales, I want to see Michael Morales versus Carlos Prates. That's what I would like to see. That's a sick fight. I think Prates might be a little too undersized for Morales. He might just get clinch-fested, hit with some big shots. I think Morales can eat the shots of Prates as well. I'd pick Morales to beat Carlos Prates, I'm not going to lie to you. But yeah, Morales versus Prates, very interesting matchup. If not Prates, then maybe you do a Jeff Neal or something like that. But yeah, very interesting fights for Michael Morales. He's a very interesting fighter. As for Gilbert Burns, it's retirement. Retire. You don't need to fight anymore, dude. Just retire. If you're gonna fight anybody, maybe fight fucking Colby Covington. That's like the only fight I could maybe see you winning in this division. Like I'm not gonna lie, Gilbert Burns, you are completely washed. You're done. This is the end. I've never seen Gilbert Burns quit like that. Maybe a couple times, but Gilbert Burns usually has that heart. He usually has that grit to just grit down and keep moving and keep throwing. He just gave up against Morales, so either Burns is just done and doesn't have the heart anymore, or Morales seriously does just hit that hard, and he just is that good. So yeah, Morales goes in there, lands some big shots. He's kind of hesitant at first, worried about the power of Burns. Burns tries to go for some takedowns, isn't really able to get them. As soon as Morales realizes he's just way rangier and way just bigger and stronger and faster and more powerful, he starts teeing off on Gilbert Burns, landing big shots. Burns eats a bunch of big punches to the head and just shells up and quits and falls to the floor. What was he? He was a minus 800 favorite. So yeah, he definitely fought like a minus 800 favorite. That's exactly what I expected from Morales. I wasn't expecting it to be that easy. I thought Gilbert Burns was going to at least survive to the second. I picked Morales by second round TKO, where I thought he was going to get him up against the fence, drop him, and just ground and pound him. But, dude, Morales, man, that was impressive to me. That was impressive to me. So yeah, I would like to see Michael Morales take on. Who would I like to see Morales take on his next fight? Oh yeah, Prates or Jeff Neal. Both of those are interesting fights. I'd like to see Prates. I think Prates might be a little too gun shy and a little too small for Morales. I think Morales could just big body him and probably put him out. But yeah, great win for Michael Morales. Gilbert Burns should either retire or fight like Colby Covington or something. Maybe Burns versus Edwards. No, I'm joking. Burns would honestly win that. I'm not gonna lie. Leon Edwards would crumble to the pressure. Shut the fuck up, bro. I don't fucking know how to deal with Gilbert Burns, bro. But yeah, great win for Morales. Terrible look for Burns. He gave up. He quit. He crumbled to the pressure. He pulled a Leon. He pulled an Anthony Smith. He pulled a Bo Nickel. And yeah, Gilbert Burns, retire. I like Gilbert Burns. He's a fun fighter. But from what I've seen right there, you're done, dude. You're done. That's the type of performance, especially when you're near 40 and you're on a losing streak and you just did that in your last fight, not showing any heart to come back and get back in the win column. That's when you know you're done. So Gilbert Burns retirement. Michael Morales versus Carlos Prates next. And actually, I think after this fight, Morales is going to be ranked above Prates. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Morales versus Prates is still an interesting fight. I don't know. I'd have to look at the rankings because I think Burns was what, eighth or ninth. I think maybe seventh. He was either 7 or 8 or 9, and I think Prates is around 11 or 12. I don't have the rankings up. I should probably have them up. Trying to think who's in the division. You could do Morales versus a. Let me think. Let me think. You could do Morales versus the loser of Usman versus Buckley, which is probably going to be Usman. I don't know if I want Morales to fight another Unk though. You could do Morales versus a. I don't know. I like the Prates fight. I like the Carlos Prates fight. Michael Morales versus Carlos Prates. Stick that on a pay per view, main card opener maybe. Carlos Prates versus Michael Morales, main card opener. I think that'd be very interesting. Yeah. Let's move on to the official recap. 8 out of 11 on picks, 2 for 2 on locks. Did great on this card. Only got 3 fights wrong. We got the Juana Santos, Tainara Lisboa fight wrong. We got the what other fight did we get wrong? We got the Gabe Green versus Mateus Camilo fight wrong. And we got the Jerry Gordon Thiago Moises fight wrong. We got every other one right. So yeah. Great performance for me for picks. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just put on a fucking masterclass right there with picks. But yeah, anyways, fight of the night, Costa versus Arosa easily. Sick fight, and best finish has to be Gordon versus Moises. It was either gonna be this or Morales versus Burns, but since the Morales Burns finish was kind of just more Burns giving up and Morales just beating him up, I decided Gordon versus Moises should get this because it was just like a nice counter over the top, flatline KO, sick KO, and I just wasn't expecting it. I was expecting Morales versus Burns to go like that. I wasn't expecting Gordon to just flatline Moises in round 1, but yeah, great card. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys in the next one. Peace.